That's Morgan K. That's Morgan M. In my head, that's Morgan Girl. There you go.
Appropriate. Works.
Okay. You all set?
Mm-hmm.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you this morning?
Pretty good.
I'm super, thanks for asking. Due to the odd number of students available, the three of us ended up together, we became a triad. I think it kind of really worked out well for us, because we represent this kind of intergenerational team of college students. What is the modern era college student? You know, most people in this room are probably in their 18 to 24-year-old range, where we have an 18-year-old, a 33-year-old, and a 50-year-old. Out of the three of us, there are two of us that are married, one of us is single, two of us are competitive athletes. One of us prefers kind of the whole solitary daily gym workout routine and doesn't like to compete with anybody. Two of us were born right here in the local Louisville area, and one of us was born far away and has lived all over the world. Next few minutes, we're going to introduce you to each other, so you get to know us a little bit better.
Good morning, Comm 111. My job is to introduce Chad White. Chad is 33 years young, as I have to say, since I'm the oldest probably. Recently married. He has now entered school to pursue a passion of learning and exploring history. Seems like we have a lot of history buffs in this class. But after talking to Chad, I quickly realized that in his 33 years, he has seen and experienced more than most of us have or will in our lifetimes. I'm going to give you a brief glimpse of his life from high school to present. How he has started new family traditions, continued old ones, and is now pursuing one of his lifelong passions. Family traditions. How many of us have? How many have started a family tradition? Being the youngest of three siblings, Chad was the first one in his family, including his parents, to graduate from high school. He attended Woodstock Academy, a private prep school founded in the early 1800s, and graduated in 1999. After graduating from the academy, he took a little bit of time off, held a couple of miscellaneous jobs, interesting to be a logger and a bartender. He then decided to continue a family tradition of serving his country. At the age of 21, Chad made the decision to join the military, a family tradition dating back to the Revolutionary War. Chad began his military training to become a counterintelligence special agent. But as he prepared for his final graduation, the 9/11 terrorist attacks occurred. Little did he know what he learned that he would use so quickly. Well, because of his specialty in espionage and terrorism, what I realized is that he has seen and been a part of things that none of us ever will. After serving his country for 21 years, Chad has the chance to pursue a real passion of gaining and sharing knowledge with emphasis on history. Being surrounded by history his whole life, Chad now gets to spend his time studying and working toward a degree that will allow him to teach and share his knowledge. In conclusion, history has touched Chad his entire life. He attended high school at an academy founded in the early 1800s with deep historical ties. He has continued family traditions that have extended all the way back to the Revolutionary War. And now he has positioned himself to teach and share that passion of history with others. Okay.
So the young lady you see before you is Morgan. She may be young, but she is a woman with a very competitive spirit. She doesn't have as much experience as me or Mark, but she's still very interesting nonetheless, and she has a lot of experiences ahead of her. She was born here in Louisville in 1994, which makes her 18 years old. She's currently a freshman here at U of L. She's the middle child, but unlike Marsha Brady, she considers herself to be the favorite child. I mentioned her competitive spirit. She liked to play all sorts of sports growing up, soccer, softball, field hockey. She did suffer an injury to her ACL during her freshman year of high school, which kind of took her off the competitive teams, but she likes to play pickup games when she can, now and then, so she still has got that in her. She's transferred that competitive spirit of hers to her educational habits. She always wants to have the best scores in school and always wants to have the best grades. And I think it served her well, and it will serve her well in the future. Speaking of school, she graduated right here from Mayo High School. Those of you from the Louisville area will know that school fairly well. It's one of the older schools in the city. She graduated in 2012. At the time, she was working as a cashier at Value Market, where she currently now works at UPS. She's taking advantage of the UPS College Metro program to fund her educational habit. Something that we can all, relate to with the educational costs today. She's undecided about where her future is going to bring her at this point. Many people are. I think so far we've talked to several people that have changed their majors once or twice at this point. She's taking an educational preparation class in case she might want to be a teacher someday. She's going to try out that field and see how that works next fall. The other thing she likes, we mentioned yesterday during her speech that she really likes shoes. She has a lot of shoes in her closet. So she likes fashion. Actually, today I noticed her iPhone matches her shirt exactly. I thought that was clever. So, at this point, I'd like to conclude with a quote from a Tim Buck-3 1986 pop song about the luminescence of our future and the possibility of protective eyewear, but you probably are too young to get the reference for most people in this class. So, thank you. Morgan.
Hi, I'm Morgan, and as you can tell, our group is made up of 3 different generations. Mark being the older generation, married and with children, and Chad being the middle-aged that's married, and me being the younger generation that's working our way through college. Today I'm going to introduce you to Mark, and I'm going to explain him through his education, his work, life-changing experiences, and his family. To start, he graduated from DeSales here in Louisville in 1981, and later, after graduation, he went off to UK, where he spent 3 years. After 3 years at UK, he decided that going into the working force was the best option for him. So he spent 30 years in the RV business, where he worked at 3 different dealerships and was able to work his way up through the industry. When the economy took a downturn, the RV business began to decline, and Mark decided to, instead of starting over in the RV business, he decided to go back to school and pursue something that he loves. Next, I will explain the diagnosis that Mark received that changed his life in many ways. In 2004, Mark was diagnosed with neck and throat cancer, and he overcame cancer through 35 radiation treatments through the neck. And after his treatments, he became an advocate for quality cancer treatments. And as an advocate, he goes to conventions and speaks to many people about the treatments that he received and the complications that he went through. Next, I will describe his family. Mark has been married for 27 years and has 2 children. His daughter's 20 years old and attends WKU. He also has a son that's 16 and attends Bullitt East. Throughout the year, he trains for triathlons and Ironman races, and throughout his life, he's completed 2 Ironman races and 3 marathons. His favorite part of the Ironman races is cycling. So, in conclusion, Mark is now here at U of L studying to become a personal trainer in hopes of helping people become healthier.
Because our group has 3 people, we chose to conclude with a general conclusion of our group. We do spread 3 generations, but we all share a common ground at the different stages in our lives. Post high school, we were and still are trying to figure out the direction our lives would take. Chad and myself now have finished one career and are pursuing another. And when you look into it, in 3 days ago, the 3 of us knew nothing of one another. So, thank you.
Press the little red button.
Yep.